We need emotional content. Try again. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again. With me. That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand? Never take your eyes off your opponent, even when you bow. That's it.
There's a hexagonal structure at the North Pole of Saturn that's been photographed by the Cassini space probe. And NASA's saying, well, it's some kind of a storm or a wave or something, but it's been there for 30 years and a hexagonal wave? Wait a minute. Well, I thought waves were circular. And it's just the weirdest thing. I mean, I just heard about it in the last 10 days or so. Somebody sent me a link, and there is something very, very odd about this thing. And I don't know. I mean, of course, everybody's going to say, alien megastructure, but maybe so. Pretty weird, and so that's novel. And who knows what that is? Maybe nothing. Maybe a natural phenomenon. But if it's artificial, and it can be verified that it's artificial, that changes a lot of things. That changes everything, because we sure as hell didn't make it. So, for one thing, organized religion can pretty much pack it in, and go home. And we could all start worshiping the holy hexagon or whatever.
Scientists did a double take when they looked at pictures of a massive storm on Saturn taken by a NASA spacecraft. It looks just like a hurricane on Earth, spinning counterclockwise, but its eye is 20 times bigger than the ones we see here, and the winds clock in at 330 miles an hour.
In Judaism, the six-pointed star or hexagram is the seal of Solomon. It appears in every branch of Freemasonry.
It's springtime on Saturn, and the hexagon is out. A perfect six-sided hurricane, 60 miles deep, that could swallow 4 Earths. It's ringed by winds of ammonia and hydrogen blowing 220 miles an hour. The storm was seen by the twin Voyager spacecraft when they passed by in the early 80s. That was the last time until recently that sunlight graced the North Pole of Saturn, which takes 30 of our years to make one circuit of the sun. Soon after the Voyagers departed, winter descended. Saturn's rings tipped away from us, plunging the North Pole into 15 years of darkness. Without sunlight, astronomers were limited to infrared images. They showed the hexagon was still there. But what is it? The hexagon is a narrow jet stream that circles the North Pole. Researchers think that friction with the slower clouds on either side of it creates eddies. mini-storms that push the jet stream into a wave-like shape as it goes around. By spinning columns of water at different speeds, scientists have been able to reproduce the six-sided pattern in the lab.
لهذا اليوم 20/3/2003 ميلادية الموافق 17 محرم الحرام 1424 هجري.
In January of 2009, the sun began its slow rise in Saturn's north. Summer was coming. The Cassini spacecraft was there to see it. In the coming months, Cassini will slip between Saturn and its rings to pass right over the storm for a closer look. But that's not all there is to see up north. Saturn has an aurora, its own version of the northern lights, a ring of electrical fire guided by the planet's magnetic field. Rings of ice and a dancing ribbon of aurora sitting smack on top of a six-sided hurricane. Another jewel in the crown of the solar system's most photogenic planet, where the voyage and the discoveries go on.
Who is the root of Jesus? Abraham. Numerous scholars have equated Abraham with Saturn. Philobiblius, of the 1st century, expressly assures us that the Phoenician name of Saturn is Israel. And Israel and Abraham are names constantly confounded, and used as perfect synonyms with each other throughout the Old and New Testament. And thus, throughout the New Testament, which is but a new version of the pagan mythology, Abraham is precisely the same hieroglyph for time, which Saturn was in the old system. The absolute identity of the god Saturn, with the patriarch Abraham, and the certainty that all that is related of Abraham in the sacred scripture is allegorical, and consequently that no such person ever existed, and no such events ever occurred, is established beyond all controversy. The patriarch Abraham was and is nothing else but a star, even the planet Saturn, and the patriarch David, likely hereafter to be proved to be no more than a star. And that the word patriarch should primarily and originally have reference only to a star or combination of stars. Their very name itself, of children of Israel, was derived to them from the Phoenicians, on the showing of their own historian Josephus, Israel being the Phoenician name of the planet Saturn, of the same signification as the Chaldean word Abraham, and identically synonymous with the star of their god, Remphan. A word more respecting Abraham. The planet Saturn was the Israel of the Chaldees, and it was personified both by them and the Phoenicians under the name of Abraham, which signifies the father of a people, figuratively, the stars of heaven, which are called his seeds forever. Saturn was the son of Terra, the earth. Abraham was the son of Terra. Saturn married his own sister Rhea, a star. Abraham married his own sister Sarai or Sarah, which signifies a star. Sirius, the ever-beautiful and young. Saturn had many sons, but only one whom he loved and protected as an only son. Abraham had many sons, though he is said to have had an only son named Isaac, whom he loved. According to the famous Sanchoniatho, Saturn offered up his beloved son Jod as a holocaust, or burnt offering wholly consumed. Abraham was about to offer up his beloved son Isaac, but a ram was found as a substitute. The planet Saturn was called Israel by the Phoenicians and Chaldees. The patriarch Abraham is synonymous with the name Israel throughout the Bible. The author makes Jesus say of himself, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman." Hold up, Jesus, I thought your father was a carpenter. I think we all know who the husbandman is, that father of agriculture. Thus we have seen Abram, another universal father, whose name, compounded of the Hebrew and Syriac words, Ab and Ram, father of elevation, is the astronomical characteristic of the planet Saturn, whose name, again, derived from Satu, to sow. and Sater the sower, expresses what Abraham was, the sower that went forth to sow his seed, and whose Phoenician name was literally Israel. Abraham, the father of the faithful, was a husbandman. Pagans also gave unto Saturn the glory of having taught men the way to cultivate vineyards and the earth, and the use of the sickle.
What's the matter?
Got a splinter.
Huh? Where'd you get it? Come here.
On the porch railing.
You need me to... what? You do what? You want me to... You need me to take that out?
Absolutely not.
Come here, let me see it. Let me see.
Dad. Look,
Rich?
don't touch it. Dad.
I can't, you're moving it around.
Okay, but
Just
don't
stop
touch
moving.
it. Just look at it.
Okay. It's gonna get infected.
No, it won't.
Yes, it's gonna get infected.
No, it won't. When it's ready, my body will just push it out.
Push it out.
I read that.